My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Just the other day, we were mentioning that it's the first T20 international action for India for 2020. Suddenly, in a couple of days' time, it's their last home action in this format for quite a while. They're going to play a lot of action. It's going to be IPL, it's going to be overseas, but not at home. The other talking point, of course, is there's going to be plenty of changes. There are, as we can confirm, 3 changes for India, a couple for Sri Lanka. One is an enforced change, and that India are batting first, and they would have done so no matter what. And we're going to go straight into that with our expert panel, Zaheer Khan, Harsha Bhogle. If I can get their attention at some point.
What do you think of the red?
The combination.
Yeah, the red, the shoes.
I'm not even sure if this is permitted or not.
Someone needs to remind him it's January and not. Are you still stuck in December?
Why?
With the red.
Oh, no. There would have been green then. It's not Christmas.
Oh, no, I thought Gautam Bhimani.
Right.
Sorry, it was a setup. Let's come back to
It was a setup. I could see that. I fell for it. But it was not a setup in the toss,
No.
even though Virat Kohli admitted that he would have wanted to bat first, and all the boxes that we were going to have a discussion about had India won the toss and actually fielded first, that goes out the window. But good to see that they're thinking in those lines.
Actually, wasn't it against the West Indies? India were put into bat. The West Indies won the toss, put India into bat, and India just batted the West Indies out of the game. So I'd like to see India batting so deep today. Just bat the opposition out to make 200 plus. It's always difficult to chase 200 plus. India batting Manish Pandey, Sanju Samson 5-6. You don't know what the batting order is going to be, but you're batting so deep. Washington Sundar at 7. That means there's no Jadeja either.
Yeah, he was not there.
Oh, well, he was not there anyway.
Yeah, he was not
correct,
there
correct.
anyway.
He wasn't there anyway. Good point.
It's wrist spinner for wrist spinner.
I'm confusing with the one-day
and
side.
Shivam Dube and...
So Manish Pandey, Sanju Samson gets a game. That's a big call because there's been a big clamour to try Sanju Samson out. But where will he bat 6?
But we had a chat about that. We were just trying to say how
he'll just grab the opportunity.
Yeah, take what you get.
Doesn't
right?
matter. Yes,
Yeah.
I think the important thing is to be part of the playing 11. So that's how he must be thinking. He's got the ability to bat at any number. So that's something which we have to wait and see. How he reacts to that position. Yes, with the new ball, he is more comfortable around that 3, which he usually plays at. But yeah, I think he'll grab this opportunity. He'll be excited to just get this opportunity, make most of it, and make that impact. So that's what we've been talking about the other day, isn't it? With Manish Pandey also sitting for so long. How his mindset is, how he's going to keep himself going. So I think we'll get to see that aspect as well with both Sanju Samson and Manish Pandey. They've been traveling with the team for a while, so I think here's a chance. What kind of work they've been putting in, we'll be able to see.
Bulked up a bit as well. Sanju Samson's.
My follow-up to that is that now that you've made these changes, and we saw what Virat Kohli did with the batting order in the previous game, having given them a chance and knowing how good 1, 2, 3 and 3 are for India, do you then say that, okay, if you're giving them a chance, let's give them more balls to face?
I don't know. The objective is still to win the game, right?
Yeah.
The objective is still to win the game. So you pick them in the side, but I'll be surprised if he changes the batting order too much. Shikhar has to bat at the top. KL Rahul is not like he's got 20 games in a row. So KL Rahul has to bat at the top. The only thing Virat might say, okay, I won't bat at 3. Let Shreyas bat at 3. Let Manish bat at 4. But you don't want your best batsman to be. So you still got to win the game. You still got to get 220 on the board. Your first objective is still to win the game. Your second objective is to see how Manish Pandey and Sanju Samson go.
Yeah, Manish Pandey, we briefly touched upon it in the previous game. The amount of appearances that he's had, and you can see here in international cricket, 23 ODIs, 32 T20Is, just one game in the last 8 that he's played when he's been in the squad at home. But again, these numbers, never mind what they are right now, it's, as Zaheer said, the opportunity. It may be just the only one he gets in a while.
Also, he's been in and out, so he's not got an extended run. And those numbers have a bit of history behind them, the slightly older numbers. He's had a fabulous season this year. Yeah. In domestic cricket, he's been in roaring form.
And Sanju Samson as well will certainly hope that he gets a look in, like-for-like replacement for Rishabh Pant.
Well, in shorter format, he has always been good. It's in fact, surprising that he had to wait for so long to get this opportunity, and someone who definitely has that that talent, that potential. We talk about Rishabh Pant. I think Sanju Samson is also somewhere close by. Along with Rishabh Pant, and I think this healthy competition between them should benefit the team also. I feel it's just about Sanju Samson getting that confidence going at the level.
Can it make them a little insecure? Sanju ne run banaye to, but that's the way you play in international cricket, right?
Yeah, I think you need someone pushing you as well. You don't want anyone to take their place for granted. So from that perspective, I think this healthy competition which we keep talking about, or the bench strength, I think it's always a good sign, because then the players are fighting for their spots, and players are pushing each other, and that the team always benefits when that kind of scenario is.
And it's the clear message that you want to send. I mean, Virat Kohli would probably be the kind of captain would make it very clear, this is the reason why we're changing the team. We're giving these guys a chance. You're very much part of our squad. You're not being dropped for any other reasons.
Also, remember, when do India play T20s next? India don't play T20s next till India go to Sri Lanka in June, July. They play 3 there, and then no other games till September. So if they hadn't got a game now, they wouldn't have got a game till well after the IPL, just 3 games in Sri Lanka, 3 at home before you go. So there's not many T20s left.
Well, yes. I mean,
there's an Asia Cup
T20 internationals is what we have to keep stressing, but one of those things, the IPL is still a platform for you to show your wares, especially in a year like this.
And the good thing about the IPL is everyone will get good numbers to play at. Rishabh will get 4-5 to play at Delhi. Sanju Samson will get 4-5 to play at Rajasthan Royals. I mean, number 4, number 5 to play at Rajasthan Royals. So there's 14 games. Hopefully neither of them gets injured. That'll be cruel.
Now, what about the Sri Lankans? Remember, one change we had already predicted, which was an enforced change for Isuru Udana, still not recovered from that injury. So we thought it would be Lakshan Sandakan. They've got that extra wrist spinner in, and it's probably a positive move. And Angelo Matthews makes his way in place of Rajapaksa.
Will he suddenly turn up and bowl the 18th over, not having bowled for 8 months like he did at the World Cup? Just turned up, broke the partnership and said, thank you very much. Will he bat at 5 though? I think it's too low for him, isn't it? Batting at 5? Maybe 4, Oshada 5?
No, I think he will take the role of finisher, and I think also depending on how much they are chasing. So like how we're talking when we're looking at Angelo Matthews' role in this team, I think is to bring in that stability and experience.
Because if he comes in at 50
bring in that sense of calmness when they're chasing as well.
But he's there to prevent the score from being 50 for 3, right, or 40 for 3. So if he comes in at 40 for 3, it's not much good, no? Someone like Angelo should be batting up front, no?
Well, I've always believed that, but
it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not happened as yet. But by the stack of batting, yes, I think he feels more comfortable at that number, at that 4-5 number. So if that's the case, then we'll see him bat at number 4-5 and look to take up the responsibility of a finisher.
Probably the inexperience of an Oshada Fernando being in there is what they're looking to toy with. Kusal Pereira does walk in where he walks in. So it's just that one spot.
One more from Kusal Pereira, actually. They want him to establish the game up front. But don't forget, this is a team that in recent times has not known what it is to win consistently. What's the record? 19 out of something like that, 19 out of 50, 55 games since the World T20. So, yeah, 19 out of 57 games. They've won 1 out of every 3 games that they've played. So they're not a good T20 side at the moment, sort of jostling at the bottom in win percentage with Zimbabwe. So they have, in a sense, nothing to lose.
Yes, we've got some interesting other numbers, but we'll bring that up later. For now, it's our My 11 Circle expert advice. We talked about spinners the other day, and it was a nice toss-up between Washington Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav, between our 2 experts, and I think it was almost 50-50 in terms of the number of points they got. Today, our question is slightly different. Which all-rounder do you think is going to get the maximum points? And remember, we are one all-rounder short with no Shivam Dubey playing. So who's going to be your pick?
So India don't have an all-rounder other than Washington Sundar, right? Unless Shardul Thakur comes and hits some big shots at the end. Who does Sri Lanka have as an all-rounder? Dasun Shanaka maybe? Who else is there all-round unless Angelo Matthews bowls a bit?
Correct, which he doesn't. So I guess you're really talking about...
You never know. He might bowl today.
He might bowl today. Who knows? Yeah. So who's the all-rounder? You go first.
Shanaka, I think.
Yeah, I think
I'll go with
Hobson's choice, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, you go Shanaka, I'll go Sundar, Washington.
So okay, yeah, well, Washington Sundar is still classified as one, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you are the guy who keeps playing Fantasy League. Who are you going for?
Well, I've gone for Dasun Chanaka in my team, so give it.
Oh, so I've got a damn good chance of winning then. Sorry.
Oh, sledging. If you could only keep track of that. I even lost track of where we were going next. Oh yes, Kuldeep Yadav. I know he may not be in the 11. He's been rested today, and it's going to be Yuzvendra Chahal playing. But something very interesting that Kuldeep Yadav did mention yesterday. Let's have a listen first.
अभी सबने देख लिया कि कुलदीप कैसे बॉलिंग करता है, तो सबको पता है कि एक चाना मैन है, उसके बाद रॉन्ग वन है, फ्लिपर है, तो थोड़ा कुछ अलग भी करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि आप थोड़े थोड़े चेंजेस अगर अपने बॉलिंग में करते हैं, वो शायद बैट्समैन को नहीं दिखते हैं, पर वो आपको पता होता है कि आप चेंजेस वो कर रहे हो, तो वो बहुत फ़र्क डालते हैं.
Not had the easiest time of late, particularly if you look back at 2019 in both formats of the game.
Now, 2019 wasn't a good year for him, but that's an interesting clip where he says, मेरे पास flipper है, wrong gun है और Chinaman है. पर वो तीन तो बॉल होते हैं ना?
हाँ.
It's like Zach saying, मेरे पास out swinger है, in swinger है, yorker है, एक bouncer है. But you play with those, right? So he's got to play with those. How many balls did Shane Warne have? Shane Warne had a leg spinner, an occasional googly, very occasional, and he had the top spinner flipper. That's it. He played with that and got 700 wickets.
But if you had to look at him again, we keep talking about the mental aspect. We talked about Manish Pandey's mental aspect, Rishabh Pant, how will he react to being benched. But in terms of Kuldeep Yadav, he knows that it's really a toss-up between him. But he's someone who you need to build confidence.
I think he was lucky in the last game, wasn't he? The seamers bowled so well in the last game.
They set it up for him.
That they had to attack Kuldeep Yadav, and the moment you attack him, he is on home ground.
I think that about his clip and what statement he made, I think that's the story of every cricketer. I think if you're playing this game, that's what it's all about. You have to keep reinventing yourself. Yeah. You have to just keep finding those answers, and you have to keep looking for different ways of possibly evolving yourself or preparing, because like you said, there are only that many deliveries. There are only that many shots a batsman can play. But you have to keep evolving that technique. You have to keep getting better. Technology is there. Everyone is observing. Everyone is trying to understand, okay, what kind of approach you have, how you play in a particular way, at a particular stage in your innings, or what kind of technical flaws you have. And people are going to exploit that. So, that's something which goes without saying with everyone. I think what he's understood now is that he has to keep on going with that process, and I think sooner you understand in your career, better it is for you in the long term, because you're never relaxing. You are always trying to find that extra bit, because knowingly or unknowingly you develop a pattern. So that pattern eventually is decoded by someone or the other, and once it's decoded, you have to again come up with reshuffle that puzzle and start again.
And it's obvious that whatever secrets he is or whatever he's working on is not something that he's going to give away. So he talked about what he has in his armory, but what are the kind of things that he'd want to work on?
Are there secrets at all? I remember Warne used to say at the start of every season that he's produced this magic ball, and everyone kept waiting, and it was just a change of name. It was the same ball that he kept calling.
Oh, it was mind games.
He called it something different. I remember Warne saying once, he said, I had the leg break, which no one could take from me. How do you make the leg break look like 6 different balls? He said, I'd bowl one slow, one little quicker, one on leg, one on off, one on middle, bowl one fuller, hold one back a little. Use that one ball to make it look like I've got many balls. So maybe and Warne loves Kuldeep Yadav. Last time, I think in that Sydney test, Kuldeep took 5 wickets, and at the press conference, at the interview, he said, I'm so proud to get 5 wickets in front of my idol. And you see, Warne was like a little child, looking very happy.
But if he was the king of the mind game.
Yeah, he was.
So I guess if you're talking about that. But again, if you talk about the numbers for Kuldeep Yadav, and we did put a few together to illustrate why he may have had a disappointing 2019. Only 4 T20I since January of 2019. The last couple of series, he only came in at the fag end of that West Indies series, picked 4 wickets from 9 games in the IPL and was dropped after 9 games. Now, he's such an iconic feature in the IPL. I think of all the statistics we're talking about, the IPL is the one that would have hurt most.
Has it ever happened to you as well in your career? You've taken 200 wickets and suddenly you go through a phase thinking, where am I going to get my next wicket from? I wonder if he's going through that phase because he's been hit a few times. Has it happened to you in your career too? That, kaise hoga?
Well, luckily not.
Even if you won't tell us.
You put me on the spot. I had to say it. Yeah, but I think in Kuldeep's case, those ODI numbers have not been that bad. I think what really put him under pressure was those couple of games of T20s, and I think that just kind of created that doubt in his head, and then he was not getting opportunity in IPL as well. So you can't really do much if you're sitting on the bench. So that is something which was the case with him. He's back. He's all these time offs you can utilize to your advantage. So that is something which as a cricketer you always have to think, and the process never stops. So that is something which you have to live by. The failures are actually key to success. So that is something which if you have that lookout, that it just kind of helps you deal with setbacks in a better manner.
He'll be good in Australia though.
Yeah.
Genuinely big boundaries in Australia, so he'll be good there.
Failures is the key to success. I was just thinking of listening to Zaheer say that and wondering if that's the mantra that Sri Lanka have to live by as a team, because it's not been a great time for them in either format, in all three formats in fact, other than that one South Africa bright spot, and the fact that they've got a new man in charge, and you have to keep track of where Mickey Arthur goes because he's all over the place. Yes, let's confirm he is in there, and let's hear from Mickey Arthur before we assess where Sri Lanka stand now.
Hopefully the experience that I bring into this job is going to give them that. It's going to be a tough ride for the players. It's going to be hard work, but I'm comfortable that we've got the skills there to be able to mold it and put it into something that's going to be really good, because it's a very proud cricket nation, and I'm comfortable we've got the tools to make it work. We've got a very good coaching staff. We've got some very skilled players. It's just about getting all the parts of the jigsaw into place. It was amazing. Grant Flower and I were sitting, because Grant was with me in Pakistan. We were actually just discussing it the other night, that we feel we're in exactly the same phase now with Sri Lanka as we were when we started with Pakistan. And hopefully we can mold a team, give some young guys experience, and give them ultimate success.
Even if you hadn't heard the last bit of what Mickey Arthur said, is the first bit of what he said almost a template? Could he have said it in Pakistan colours, in any colours? We've got the skills, very proud nation.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. We have these records, right? Have you scored a century against each country? Have you taken a 5-4 against each country? I wonder whether Mickey Arthur and Dav Watmore send each other messages saying, have you coached this country? Have you coached this team yet? But it's an interesting time to coach Sri Lanka, because there's a lot of talent coming through. You've got an opportunity to do something with the Sri Lankan side. They're down, you've got to lift them up, but it's a time to do, it's an opportunity to do something. I thought they had a really good coach before, but obviously that didn't work out for them. With Chandigarh Hathura Singh is asking them for a lot of money, by the way. I hope he gets some of it. But
well, Bangladesh rated him very highly as well.
Coach, yeah.
But it was interesting. But, when you talk about a figure like Mickey Arthur, when he's there without the likes of Muralidharan, Sangakkara, Jayawardene, Dilshan, so many of them missing, maybe he's the right kind of person to be that father figure around.
Why did you say figure like that? Okay.
You're not leaving him today, huh?
We go back a long way.
No, it's not just Mickey Arthur. He's not sparing anyone today, Harsha. You're next.
I think it's a good time. I think what's required for Sri Lankan cricket is to have some kind of stability. Yeah. If you look at the last couple of years and the number of players represented Sri Lanka, the list is huge, and it's a long list of players which have got the opportunity, but never really they never really got the opportunities consistently. So I think what's important for Sri Lankan cricket is to identify that core group and stick with that. I think if they are able to do that, then they will definitely see success in next year or so for sure. And to achieve that, I think Mickey Arthur is a good person. He's a hard taskmaster. He will set those processes, the team environment, and that discipline which is required. As the baseline. The basic work ethics. The work which players should put in. I think those kind of things you'll be able to execute it well, and with the stability and a good leader. I think that good leader is very important. So from that point of view, I think Angelo and Lasith Malinga will have a huge role to play in terms of giving direction to all these youngsters. And get them up to speed and bring about that belief also in that group. I think that's the most important thing.
To be fair, coach, you talked about work ethic. Remember, the first team he coached was a team that was defined for its work ethic. That was a very good South African side. So he would have picked that up from there. He might give his team some homework to do from time to time. And he'll ask them to slip it under the door, and if they don't, it's just, the
But we all
homework thing
know
was
that
blown out of proportion.
Nikiyata and Australia didn't gel well together.
The homework thing was blown out of proportion.
Yeah, it was blown out of proportion. But again, those numbers we mentioned earlier, 18 out of 57, we have to sort of say that, listen, they are a team in transition in that sense. It's not an excuse, but it's just the reality.
Also, they keep throwing up a lot of talent that's not becoming big. Kusal Perera is a fine talent. He plays these sporadic match-winning innings, but he's not a consistent performer. He's not a Rohit Sharma, for example. He's not a consistent performer. Kusal Mendes should have become an even better player by now because we know his ability. I think even Angelo Matthews should have been a better player by now. So that's the issue. I think what Mickey Arthur has to do is take all this talent that's coming through. Avishka Fernando is a great talent. Oshada Fernando is a great talent. Take this talent and show them how far they can go.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about obviously the obvious resemblance to Sanat Jayasuriya, and everyone said, okay, that's the next Jayasuriya. Never got there. Bit like Darren Bravo and Brian Lara. The resemblance was there. That's about
Sometimes it's good not to have a resemblance. You don't get compared to somebody then. So, yeah.
But yeah, but there's one more set of numbers that actually astounded me. I mean, it's something that you might have known, but only when you put it down in a list do you actually realize that Sri Lankan players and IPL have had a strange equation. Look at 2008, look at 2019. 13 players in the IPL, and we've got just one in 2019, and we'll have 1.5 in 2020 if Udana's fit.
I didn't realize there were that many.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of Sangakkara, Jayawardena, Murali, Dilshan. Later on, you had Thisara. Where's that 13 players? I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Well done.
Also, don't forget that Ajanta Mendes, Thisara Pereira was there.
But also phase, see, between 2007 and 2011, Sri Lanka were a fantastic side. They made the finals in 2011. They made, I think, 4 or 5 ICC finals around that period. And that's reflected. Even in 2013, when did they win? They won in 2012 or 14? 2014, they won the World T20.
What will be interesting is to compare Sri Lanka and West Indies. I think, the West Indies players, if you look at it by and large, in the last 4-5 years, they've been using West Indies as a platform to get noticed, as, individual performances have been, and the players have been coming through. And I think as the West Indies players' numbers in IPL was going up, the Sri Lankan number was going down.
Very good point, because I'm pretty sure.
Something which had a very correlation, I felt, yeah.
Yeah, after their win in 2012, in Colombo, ironically, is when all the swap started.
It's interesting. Shibran Hetmeyer plays one innings, suddenly we think he's a good player. Nicholas Pooran plays one innings, we think he's a good player. Because of what the Gales and Bravos and Pollards and Russells and Narayans have done, you start to rate the West Indies players better. So similarly, because of what the Jayawardena, Sangakkaras, Muralis, Dilshan did, I think a lot of Sri Lankans got in. Now this generation has to show, look, we are capable of doing that. I mean, this year there's 2, last year there was 1.
Also, you'd have to say, to be fair, they've got a platform like the CPL, which continues to
they don't have their own T20 league either. I mean, Bangladesh have their own T20 league. Sri Lanka had to call it off after misadventure.
It certainly is, yeah. But what about the other gentleman who's usually part of this setup? Now, first question easy, second question slightly better. Today, we said, please, Joy, we want a tough one. Has he got us one? Let's see. Joy factor question for today. And it looks tough. Oh dear, Chinese immigrants. Okay, in cricket, what connects an electronic store, originally set up in 1957 by Chinese immigrants with a current income of around $335 million with a famous 20th century assassin? What does this have to do with cricket? Right, apparently something. This is a cracker of a question. It's just fun. I mean, I like it. I already like it. I have no idea what the answer is, but I'm going to try and figure it out. Harsha, you're quiet for the first time today, which is good.
$335 million electronics firm from China. So there's 3 or 4 there. We've got to find a connection from there.
And someone
with a 20th century assassin.
Yeah.
Someone might be playing also today.
A real assassin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll fair.
Okay.
We'll get to that at some point in time. We'll get to that.
Today's a really good day to keep track of how quickly the answers are coming.
Yeah, I think I have a theory. I'm not going to say it out anymore. I'm already starting to get there, but only because it's another question I often ask.
He's already got it.
Oh, okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Okay. We'll discuss it straight after the show. We're going to wrap up soon, but we need to get our My 11 Circle expert couch prediction. And this, remember, with Sri Lanka having won the toss and asked India to bat first. The last time India were asked to bat first, they blew the opposition away, even though they don't like doing that first. That was West Indies, 204.
I'm still thinking 1957 electronics.
Stop it, Harsha. You don't have to get it before we do. Your name is not Rohit.
No,
Crick
no.
Rohit.
So what we, what we
So you're trying to say batting first India, there are no red flags.
all the red is here. All the red is here.
Not at all. I think lose the toss, bat first is so different from win the toss, bat
I
first.
couldn't find a red flag because all the red was stolen.
All right. Shall I go first?
Okay.
210.
Okay. Yeah, actually, 195. Chalo.
I'll say 175. Yeah.
Fair enough. Conservative.
You've got a
approach.
big range today.
That's all right. You've got a nice big range. We always like
I'm
that.
going by Malinga's instincts and how he has usually responded. Yeah, you can't.
Fair enough.
You can't rule him out.
One thing's for sure, it's not going to be a red flag. We've got a wide range of it, something to think about on the joy factor question and plenty for us to ponder as we think over the next 10 overs, at which stage we'll be back with Cricbuzz Combox and then continue to assess everything at the halfway stage on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.